Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have another speed build for you, and this one is again going to be part of my save. I would what am I talking about? My file share. That's not the right word, but my Sims file or Sim save. There we go. We'll go with that. And today I have moved onto the second lot of this neighborhood in. I don't really know what sort of neighbour you could really call this, but I guess it's the richer end of Willow Creek. And obviously you can see the house I built up on the other corner up there in the distance for the Kimber Lewis family. If you want to check that out, that's also on my channel. I've created a playlist for this, which I've called the Simstasis save. So just a little playlist I'm going to put together for all the builds, which are going to be for Willow Creek and probably in future for other towns as well. Other worlds, I should say. But in this one, I was definitely inspired by Little Simsies when she did a Let's Build of her, when she did a farmhouse. And that is exactly what I built today, was a farmhouse. I saw this picture online of this lovely house, what this house is based off. But then, because this lot is huge, it's 50 by 50, I was like, what on earth can I add extra to kind of buff this out? Other than the monumental amount of landscaping that I do in this, and I didn't record it all because you would have been here for too long. So you will see it in the screenshots and all that jazz, but for the majority of it, you do see a little bit of it, what I do. But I kind of saved it mostly for the screenshots, purely because it would have taken me so long. And this video is already 25 minutes long, and I think that's without screenshots, and probably will be about 27 minutes long with screenshots. So I was like, I don't need to make it any longer by adding in extra. I've already cut plenty of out. I've cut all the bathrooms, like apart from one bathroom, I've cut all the other bathrooms out, and a lot of me doing the floor plan and all that sort of stuff, so I've cut that out. And yeah, I was like, it doesn't need to be any longer. But this is obviously put on a lot which doesn't have anybody who lives in it, so I came up with a whole kind of backstory for this family who is going to be moving into it, and I have created those, and I do like them. I think I do like the way they turned out. So the family who are going to be living here is, I forgot their names. How bad is that? I can't remember their names. I think I remember their surname, which was like the Davidsons or something. But basically the backstory I had was there is the grandparents who are the ones who owned this huge plot of land. And they've slowly built up this house over a period of time, which is why I wanted the combination of the brick and the white, as if they'd had this original brick house and then they've slowly built around it, which is why they built the upstairs, they built the extensions on the sides, like their sunroom, and those bits on the side to the extras to the brick wall. So they've kind of built this up as they've gone along. Maybe it's like the sort of thing like a legacy house or something. So the brick is the original, and then they built around it with the white sliding, or I think is the right word. But yeah, then they got the barn out the back and all that sort of stuff. And I cut out a lot of the editing I did on the roof because it took me so long, and I was never happy with it. So I think I changed it in the end, I think. But yeah, I think I added in a sunroof anyway, which you'll see in the screenshots. But basically, their son, he moved out. He originally got married. He had a lovely wife, but sadly, they had 3 kids. They had a lovely life together. They went traveling. They were madly in love with each other. They had twins and a little girl, but sadly, she recently passed away. And so when she's passed away now, he's had to move back in with his parents because he's unable to afford the rent on his end of the part. So it's just the house, I kind of made it very cluttered, as if it's just like, it's a huge house, but there's a lot of Sims that live in this property. Like there's 2 dogs. So there's the grandparents, so that's 2. Then there's the father. I think his name's William. And then there's the 2 twins. And then there's the little girl. So that's 5 so 2. So I'm dreadful at maths. So then there's six people living in this house. So I really wanted it to reflect that the grandparents now kind of live in the smaller room. The twins have quite a large room. It's very blue. I have to admit that is very blue. Maybe a little bit too much blue, but I thought maybe that was... it looks a little bit over the top, as if the grandparents have like gone, oh, they're boys, maybe this is what they'll like, and just went full out on the furniture and full out on like the wall decorations and stuff, as if they redecorated for them to be moving back in and stuff. Because I wanted them to be like really quite can-do people, that they've like built this farm, they've built this like economy. Obviously when I've uploaded it to the gallery, but I haven't added any of the plants. There is like a few scattered around the house, but when I go through and edit this house and like move them in and stuff, I'm gonna add in like rows of plants, because obviously that's really lucrative and that's how I wanted it to be for their money making and stuff. But they're just like really can-do people. They're like really optimistic. They love the outdoors. They love going for hikes and all that sort of thing. You can imagine like what sort of people they are. And then since William, their son, his wife has died, he's kind of fallen off the rails a little bit. I'm not saying like he's a drunkard or anything like that, but they both loved music. Him and his wife loved music, and he was an aspiring musician. And now that his wife has died, like he's lost all of his inspiration. Sadly, he's put on like, I made him like he's quite overweight now. He's grown a beard, his hair's grown out. He's kind of just lost his way a little bit. And obviously now he's living back in with his parents. He doesn't know what to do. He's now having to look after 3 kids, a toddler now that the wife is dead. He's just like been thrown into the deep end really quite shockingly. Thought him and his wife would be able to look after the kids together, not just obviously him on his own, and he's just really struggling really with it. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory for this house, and I love this property. I really do like the way it came out. And sometimes when you do farm builds, I love getting into the nitty gritty sort of, as I probably said this in the last build, I recalled what I said in the last build about I love clutter. It's just me and clutter. It just makes it feel so much more lived in. And I love those curtains that came with cats and dogs. Those huge drapey old curtains. It's just... it works. Oh, excuse me. I'm not losing my voice. And I was like... oh my God. But yeah, here I'm doing the kitchen. I really like this, the colour scheme that I did in the kitchen. And I don't know, I put in that pet bed, but I think the dogs... no, I think there should be one dog which will fit on there. I put in a collie dog, which I called Monty, which I thought was a really... No, the collie was called Butter. No. That was the cats that I put in the Kimber Lewis household. No, the collie was called Monty, and there was another one which I sadly can't remember it. The only reason I remember Monty was because I realised you could give dogs caps. Like in Wales they call them die caps, and oh my God, I put a picture up on my Twitter, and it is the cutest thing ever. Just seeing this collie dog in a little flat cap. Oh my God, I can't speak tonight. A little flat cap, and it was just so cute. That's why I remember Monty. He's gonna have that little hat in my save, because I can't not have my little collie with a flat cap. Oh, he's so cute. I wanted him so badly. I was like, oh, you look like a Monty. You look like a Monty. But yeah, kind of moving on to the dining room here, and I really struggled with like the colour scheme for this, because I wanted to use a different coloured curtain, but the issue was that I think they had the green ones, and then there was some red ones as well, and then there wasn't just the right chairs to go with it, And you saw probably at the beginning there I had the red colour scheme in, but the curtains were just a little bit too rich. I wanted a little bit more of like a dusty pink red, rather than it being like a full body red wine sort of red. I was like, yeah, this is just a bit too deep and a bit dark for the dining room, in my opinion. But yeah, so obviously house is on the gallery. I called it, I think the house is originally called Oakenstead, and I really like the name because I called it Oakenstead Farmstead, and I'm like, really cliche, really poor pun, but that's what it's called. So on the gallery, if you ever want to download it, I probably went a little bit nuts on the packs, but obviously you can download it and things will be removed. Mostly, I use majoritatively cats and dogs stuff and parenthood stuff, I think, and kids room. I've really been getting into that stuff pack at the moment, but definitely parenthood and cats and dogs, because cats and dogs came with a real nice, laundry obviously, cats and dogs came with a lovely amount of kind of old farmhouse styled curtains and settees and all that jazz. So if you do download it, some things will be left out, but I think with that build being mostly built off cats and dogs, I think you should be fine. But yeah, this is the one bathroom that you can see me furnishing, but I just use the exact same kind of blueprint for all of the bathrooms. Same toilet, same sort of sink layout, same shower, same clutter. It's just all kind of the same, so you don't have to worry about missing on anything. I do change the colour scheme, however, here it's quite dark and I change it later to a much lighter colour scheme, because I thought it just looked a little bit nicer. So yeah, I think now we're going to be, when this bathroom's done, moving on to, I did the sunroom next. And, I'm doing a little bit of clutter now. And, yeah, I can't remember actually. That's the problem sometimes when you do these builds. You're like, did I do it in again? So yeah, hope you're all having a good time, wherever you are in the world. Anybody else looking forward to EA Play? I wish I was going. Obviously, I'm definitely not in Game Changer, I think they're called, EA Game Changer. Yeah, obviously I'm not, I just started this channel. But even if I wasn't, I'd love to be able to go over to I think it's in Los Angeles, just to go over itself. Obviously anybody can go over to EA Play and watch the games, and obviously they get the time to play the games to record the content. But I just love to be able to go over there and just see it all. Really, it would be such a fun experience, because I've been to one Comic-Con, if I'm thinking along the lines of a conference, and that was in Cardiff in Wales, and it was definitely a different experience, at least I can say. The amount of stalls selling anime themed merchandise was surprisingly crazy. I was shook by the amount of merchandise that you could get, and I haven't watched much anime in my lifetime. I think I've watched 2 shows and a couple of the Studio Ghibli films. I've watched a couple of those, and the anime shows I have watched, I've watched one, and a couple of some episodes in another, but the anime show that I did watch is not family friendly. It's called Kill la Kill, and it's definitely out there. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's definitely out there. It involves how wearing less clothes makes you more powerful. So yeah, definitely a weird plot, but we had one of my favourite characters in it. Her name was Mako, and obviously she was there for the comedic relief, but she was a golden child. I loved her so much. But so yeah, here, moving back on my little divergent there, you saw the what's it called, the sunroom that I did, and I kind of wanted to keep with the whole idea that they'd built maybe the upstairs and the sunroom and all that sort of stuff with as they've built out later. Like obviously they probably expanded the kitchen, but they kept with their similar style. But I wanted to put in that kind of banana motif, which came in the free Caribbean pack update for a while ago, I think. I wanted to put that on the walls, and I also put that in the grandparents' bedroom, because I could imagine like when his wife died, they were like, okay, you can move back in, but let us just quickly redecorate a little bit, so that I could imagine they'd like redecorate in a couple of days. Like they'd be like, oh, you're moving back, oh, let's make everything perfect. So I could just imagine them being those sorts of grandparents. They're like, we're going to make your time as easy as possible, like you can move back in straight away, we'll have the whole house redecorated, perfect for you, and no problem at all. But yeah, so I kind of gave them the smallest room, because I feel like they would be like, oh, don't worry about it, we'll go in the small room. We don't spend much time in our bedrooms anyway, we spend most of our time in the garden. So that's what I was going for, and I loved the colour scheme really. Like the nice greens, the mints. Oh, I love that bedspread. That came with cats and dogs, I believe. I just love I can't think of the word now. The crochet, is it crochet? I don't think it's crochet. But as if like someone hand stitch. We'll go with hand stitch, the quilt, hand stitch quilt. We'll go with that. It just gives that exact vibes as if they made it themselves. I could imagine the grandma making a couple of those. And I can't remember her name. I think the grandfather's name is Joe, or Joesph, and I decided the wife was going to be of Pakistani origin, so her name was Aisha, and then I kind of added in some Pakistani styled names, origin names for the children as well. Like I remember his name was Cameron, spelled with a K. Kamran. So, and I think the other one was, I think they went on, okay, I'll name one child, you can name the other child. So we got Cameron, and I think the other one was like Luke or something, a little bit more maybe British or American, or I guess this is probably Willow Creek is quite American suburbia, so I guess I could have called him like Hunter or something, because that's not really a British name, Hunter. But and then the little girl, her name was Fatima, because I think that is such a cute little name. But yeah, so this is moving on to her room. I could imagine like the grandparents pulling out quite a few of the, like some of their old when the little boy was a brother. When he was a child, I can imagine them pulling some of his toys out, because I had them. They like dog lovers, so I thought the room was so cute. The little green patterned room was perfect, and yeah, now we're moving on to their room, and I probably should have made it less blue, but I really liked that tie-dye style bed that came with kids' room stuff, and I just think it's really nice on the colour scheme. Really nice on the colour scheme. What is my syntax? What is my English? I just really liked the overall colour scheme, and I went kind of crazy with the posters, but what can you do, eh? They look cool. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the way this build came out. I know I've already said that, and yeah, I as you can see, I put in a blue rug. I was like, blue! I could just imagine the grandparents being like, well, they're both boys, so they both can have blue. So I could just imagine the grandparents just being a little bit like, oh, it's fine. I mean, I had one of the two boys. One's a sporty boy, and one is, I think he wanted to be artistic. So I was like, I'll give them both a little bit more of a personality, so they don't like want the same interests and stuff. Like on one side, the boy's going to be a scout, so that's on his side, and then on the right side, or the left side, sorry, it had like the art table, so that was the other kids, like where he wants to go be a drawer or something. So that was like for them when they grow up and they've got like some skills and stuff, like one wants to be an artist, one wants to be go into sport, and obviously they're going to have their bickerings and stuff over like one thing. I want to go, can you play football with me? And he's like, no, but I want to draw. So I could just imagine them being like the bickering brothers. And then we're finally moving on to the final room of the upper of the build, and I think after this we probably will be moving on to the landscaping, because you will see it in the screenshots, but I forgot to press record when I was building the when I was furnishing the inside of the shed. Well, it's not really a shed, it's more of a barn, that's the right word. I've completely forgot to press record, so you'll see it in the screenshots, but it was mostly, I kind of use it as like a storage place. I put a cow plant out there because I thought that looked quite cool, but then there was like some other plants out there. Then there was like a woodworking table, there was the flower arranging table, there was like a punching bag, just a few like little extra bits really, just to kind of, I think I forgot to press record, and I was like, oh god damn it. But yeah, so now we're moving on to the landscaping. But now go back to the dad's room. I kind of had it that he is, obviously I put in a piano and stuff, but I wanted it that he doesn't really let anybody go into his room. He's kind of falling into a little bit of like solitude. He doesn't want to like see what he's like living in. So I've got like loads of clothing like still on the floor, as if like he doesn't do his washing. He's like, if anybody's seen Endgame, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you've seen Endgame, it's kind of what like Thor looks like in Endgame. So yeah, that's kind of what he looks like. I didn't plan for him to look like that, but he ended up looking like Endgame Thor. Obviously, Thor, they have very different reasons to be wanting to feel sad, but they both have that sort of kind of look. But I still think it's obviously the good thing of that they're both going through trauma, but the main thing is that obviously that doesn't diminish you as a person. But he's obviously, they're both quite recent, so they're both kind of suffering with the issues of like coming to terms with their, well, obviously William is having to come to terms with the loss of his wife and all of that sort of stuff. And when this will be officially done, the whole build save will be done for Willow Creek. I have put in her, what's it called? Her gravestone. I gave her a little gravestone area with some like wreaths and stuff. It looked quite cute. But yeah, I think we're going kind of towards the end of this build now. So I really do hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I loved this build, and it's obviously a sad backstory, but you've got to add in a little bit here and there. It's not all happy, and like there's always going to be like family problems. And I just thought it added in just a little bit of extra dimension, purely on the fact that this was that nobody lived on this plot of land before. So I was quite happy to add in that sort of extra little bit of dimension to Willow Creek. So I hope you all enjoyed. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I will get back to your comments as quick as I can. And I don't think there's going to be a build next week, because tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, on Wednesday the 5th of June, I will be going home for a week. And I don't think I'm going to have much of a chance to play Sims. And if I do, it won't be that much. Like I probably won't have time to finish a build, just purely because I'm going home for my mum's birthday, and I don't really want to spend that trying to like finish a build sort of thing. So this I will probably still be working on my my Willow Creek save, but until then it'd probably be like a week and a half break or something between videos, just purely on the fact that I don't have time, I don't have any footage to record. And so yeah, so please don't go. I won't be gone for too long. If you want to keep updated, I will probably still be posting on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. So thank you all for watching. If you want to find this house, it is up on the gallery. So look up my username, which is either Simstasis or the, what's it called? Or the, now I'm getting still stuck for words. Or the name of the build, which is Oakenstead Farmstead. Or you can go follow me on Twitter, which is still at Simstasis. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you're having a wonderful time, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye!